Hello, it's LA, y'all. What's up? I have another story to tell y'all. And this time it goes personal. But I'm going to tell you because it's on domestic violence. But first of all, would y'all please subscribe to my channel? I really would appreciate it. Because help a girl out, help a girl out. But anyway, it started when back at home when I thought I needed a boyfriend. I thought I needed a scapegoat because I wasn't happy with my home life. I wasn't happy with, I thought rules were just not acceptable for me. Because in my mind, I wanted someone to love me. But I was the wrong one. I was around about, I say 18. I graduated and stuff, and there was this guy. I'm not going to tell you his name because I think names is not necessary because it's the past. But I'm going to tell y'all this. Domestic violence is real. I should have known there was a problem because when I first went to go over to his mother's house and meet him, he basically, what he did was him and his brothers wanted to take my car, wouldn't let me go home. So I was going to police then. But let me go back to how I met him. I met him at this center where they play basketball and stuff. It was a free center. We all went there, girls do their thing, and me and my sister was going. And he came up to me and he says, "Hey, what's up? How about me and you kicking it?" And so I didn't think nothing of it. I was like, yeah. He was an older guy. He was already about almost, in about 20-something. But he was older than me. Quite a bit older than me. Like 9, 8 years. But some reason I like older men. I didn't like the men. There was, like the young men. I figured I just didn't like them. I wasn't attracted to them. So anyway, he wanted to take me out, but he wasn't the one paying. I should have knew that was a problem with that. Because with my mama, we went to go get some pizza, and my mama had gave me the money so we could get some pizza. And then I got pizza. He took the money that was paying for her pizza. But she says, "Oh, no, you don't give me my money, and you going to do it right now. I'm going to do something that you ain't going to like." My mama came out, and she wasn't playing. She wanted all her money. She says, you don't want me to show you because I'm not her. I don't love you, and I don't have no feelings for you. So you give my money right now, or we're going to have some problems. And she had this little sack she came out with. You talking about he got that money and gave it to her. He wouldn't give it to me, and then he was hateful to me afterward. But anyway, it all started, I had my son. But before then, he would try to beat everything. If I denied anything, pow. If I wanted to say anything, pow. It was just abusive. I mean, he blacked my eye for my own car. That he took my car and it was me. I was paying the payments. And he gonna take my car and give me black eyes. And my friend says, "What, you let him do that?" And then they were cousins. But anyway, on down the road, it got real worse because he wanted to control. He didn't want a woman to talk back. He wanted a woman that basically followed orders and just shut up. Okay? Gave him all your money. And he'd come around and treat you all like, "I like you. You number one." No, it ain't about number one. He was trying to use somebody because he was on that dope. Okay, and I didn't know he was on that crack and all that stuff because I didn't do that. I don't do drugs because that's whack to me. Believe it or not, drugs wasn't in my category because I had to go to work in the hospital, and you can't have all that drugs. You got to pass your test. So I didn't do crack and cocaine and Primos and dip. He did all of this. But anyway, my mother always told me, just because I do it don't mean you got to do it. And a lot of his problem is he wanted a woman to be submissive because he wanted a woman to really be submissive because due to the fact a woman wasn't supposed to say nothing. He's supposed to do whatever he wanted to, but I believe it goes back to when his mother, she used to run everybody, literally everybody. What it was, she had a man in the other room while she slept in the other room. He couldn't go in. They had separate ice boxes. They had separate stoves. It was crazy. Everything was separate. And she says, "You not getting nothing from me because you a cheater and a liar." And he was an old man, you know, and he was having heart troubles and stuff, and they were taking lines, and she was just abusing him. She would not care. She said, "I don't care about him. I got him a cake." And she said, "What you get my man a cake for?" And so it was just crazy with that, with his parents. But his mother was the ruler. And I ain't playing. She didn't play. She had a big old rifle. And if you didn't listen, you can get something. Like she said, you can get 2 of these and 2 of these and the rest of the ground. So she didn't care. She was country. But anyway, I saw then what the problem was. He just never liked the woman to control anything or have anything to say about what's going on, what they do, and how they do it. If you said something that you stopped them for, they would just say, want to beat you up and hurt you. And he was really abusive. I had to go to work with a black eye. I never got a broken arm, broken anything, but I just got a scratch that cost me all this to go across. It was a scratch. He scratched me. He just beat me up a lot. All because he wanted control. I didn't know what love is. I don't know what made me attracted to that. And I think it's the loss of what I wanted from my parents. Because my mother, she didn't really care for us to have, she didn't even trust her own kids at times when it came to her man. And she didn't trust us, and we never took nothing from her or did anything to her. That's just the way her mind said. Everybody's not out. She was always one step ahead. She didn't trust nobody. And love was not, to me, was a factor with my mother. And my father was going through things. They divorced when I was 18, so therefore, that was a lost subject. When I got 18, you supposed to get. You supposed to have your own place, and if you didn't follow her rules, you out. In other words, you can't have boyfriends, you can't have nothing. They can't come over your house, you can't have, but she can have what she wanted because that was her house. And I respected that. I had to realize years later, that's just who she was. But anyway, I had my first son, and he would hit me around. He'd treat the kids, he'd treat the kids good. He'd be up all night with the baby. And then he'd take it out. And this dude used to get so high and drunk, he'd pee in the closet like he was peeing in the toilet. But he was peeing in my closet and taking this boo-boo in the closet and boo-boo in the bed because he couldn't tell the difference when he was high, which one it was. That's just how high it was. And when I always said something to him about it, he'd be ready to fight and beat you up and turn you all kinds of stuff and slam your fingers and pull your hand back to where he almost breaks it. He was just a real abusive person. He just didn't care. He was kind of like just out there, just totally out there. I mean, I should have known better because I had to go to work with a black eye, taking my car. He wouldn't come pick me up. I had to walk home from my own job to miles to get back home because he never brought my car back because he was always over that dope. But I don't know what I loved about him, but I guess I figured my parents, the love wasn't at home, so I choose the wrong love to me. I went for the wrong longing than the wrong person, and he took advantage of that. He took advantage of that full force. And, you know, he took advantage. I mean, he went berserk. He was just beating me left and right, and I have bruises, all kinds of stuff to prove it. People say, why you with him? Why you this? And I don't know, I have this thing, when I'm in a relationship, I'm loyal to that relationship, regardless if it's bad or what. But one day, he beat me so bad, I said, if I get down these steps, I ain't never coming back. Because he would, the argument before I did that, he put water all in my stuff. When I got home, the stuff blew up when I turned the light on. He was just that evil. And then he disassembled my car where it wouldn't run at all. My daddy had to come and try to piece it back together. It was a big mess. I didn't have a backup. I was really afraid. And I was so frightened to leave. You know, I was frightened to stand up for myself. Because if I did, he beat it out of me. He just beat it out of me. It's hard to talk about this, y'all. But anyway, I had to realize that being beaten every time you ask for something, for making your opinion, you want to take away a woman's voice. And my conclusion to that is it was just because I was longing for somebody to love me, to guide me, to love who I am. You know, love me. I had 2 babies. I never forget the time I had no place to stay, and we were staying with his mama, and I had to walk to work for miles at my first job. And I was so tired. This particular person wanted to charge me $50 a day that I didn't have. It would be my first check. So I had to walk to work. And it was from 10, it took me to 10 o'clock till I work time. And I was so tired when I got to work. One day I almost gave up. Just working, I almost gave up. And some man said, here, go get your place to live and some food, baby. You don't owe me nothing. And I never forget that. And I thank that person to this day. And I said, well, how'd I pay you back? He said, you don't have to worry about nothing. So the man upstairs was trying to help me. He wanted me to get this job because I was at my last rope to quit this job. Because I had to take the kids to daycare with, stroller. He was just he didn't even want to watch his kids. When he'd take off doing crazy stuff and then come back and say something happened. He was sleeping with different women. He was just a person that you try to talk up to, he'll beat it out of you. If you stand up as a woman and just say your opinion, he'll beat it out of you. So you had to just be quiet and say nothing. And one day I got tired and I said, no more, I'm taking my kids and I'm going down them steps and I ain't never going back. And I promised God. He came to my job begging, took a ring from another lady to give to me, talking about, can you marry me? And I just looked at him, no, don't come back to my job. And I told security, because I was afraid because he'd come to the door and try to choke me to death, try to get through my front door and choke me. Just wanted to beat me out. I wasn't even living with him. But to this day, it's hard feelings about that because he was, on that crack, cocaine dip and everything, and he had people after him, wanting to kill him. One day I had to pay my whole check because they was going to kill all of us because he owed them. So I had to pay his debt. It's something that I don't do. So I'm going to tell you something, women. If you're looking for love, you better find the right love. If a person beats you, they don't love you. They're trying to take you down because you're a female. Don't want you to speak. Don't want you to be a person. Don't want you to have words and have thoughts. Just because you're a female doesn't make you dumb. Us females are not dumb. They try to put us that way. Without us, this world wouldn't be here because we the one have the babies. They don't. And we the one controls what comes back. And their sons and their daughters, and they should have more respect. But when they beat it you reportedly, you've got to realize that's not love. I didn't know the difference between what love really was because my parents was, to me, dysfunctional when it came to that. They was too busy on their own half to handle my half. And my daddy was a little too kind. He had a kind soul. He don't really talk up against nobody. He don't really do nothing. He just let everything happen to me and just walk past it like he didn't see it. And my mother, that's what she had. She had a tough way about herself. She figured if you're grown enough to get in that and you can't get yourself out, then you're grown up to take what you got coming. And if it's a beating every day, you allow it. But then she always telling you don't do nothing wrong. But then when you do something wrong, she not going to stand up for you. She not going to fight your case, nothing. So, one day I came to the point where I wanted to hurt him. But I said, no, I'm not going to do it. Because Jesus died on the cross for me. He died for me. So what I look like taking another life. So I respect God in that thing. That's what saved him. It wasn't just because I didn't have the thoughts to hurt like somebody hurt me. Okay? Been hurt a lot in my life. Everybody thought I was out of my mind. They started judging my family, left me alone. My family disappeared because of that. A lot of that. And it was a lot of embarrassment, the reason why I couldn't go back, because people do not forget. They throw it in your face all the time about how you were beaten, why you take that, why you do that. I was only 20-something, from 18 to 20. I was a little kid, technically. My mind wasn't ready for what was out there with them boys, what they would do to you. I wasn't expressed what they would do to you. I had some kind of idea, and I thought I was on top of stuff. But no, ain't no top being beaten every day. Being abused and cut up, it's nothing on top of that. That means you got to get out because he could kill you. It came that close. Some things ain't worth it. I had to realize it. And I left, and I never went back. Been good ever since. But in my lifetime, let me tell you something. Dominating female, these guys, they always, it's a lot of them. And you got to be choosy which one you pick. And there's only a few good ones. There's some more out there, but there's a few. Because there's a thing called, I want to control you. You supposed to do what I say. You ain't supposed to talk. You ain't supposed to be nobody but a woman. A woman has a voice, okay? That's the thing I want to tell you, ladies. Trick all this, what we can't say, what we can't do. You can do what you want to do. It's about you. It's your kids in your life. Yes, your kids need a man and a male in your life. You don't need to be beaten for it because they don't appreciate the things that they have. And they're smoking dope. They're doing everything in the world. And you just sitting along, going along because you don't know how to get out of a situation. The best thing for you to do is find your scapegoat and you stay there. And sometimes you got to sever ties with your family too to get freedom. They wasn't giving you freedom while you was there. They didn't even step in. They didn't tell the police. They didn't do nothing. Okay? So it doesn't matter to me. You was alone anyway when you had to fight that by yourself. There's always a way. There's other people that need to know what happens in domestic violence. Violence kills. Nobody has the word to beat it out of you every day. No one. But the only person that you should be concerned about to gave you and took care of you was your parents and the one above. But basically God first, because he loves you. He's not about beating you, taking it out of you. He put you here for a reason as a female. He wanted you to populate, make more people, but also be smart about it. I didn't realize that until now, and it's too late to take that back. I can never take that back. But now I got respect for it because I made a wrong choice and I have to accept it. But people never forget. They'll drag you with it. Even the closest people with you will always tell you what made you stay in that position. But you can't ask me that because you wasn't there. You don't know what I had to deal with. You don't know how I had to run. You don't know I had nobody defensively to stand up for me. So what was I supposed to do? Get cut up, dead, don't got nowhere to go, and nobody's to help me? No, it was that deep. My parents were too influenced on themselves, their women and their man. They wanted that situation more than they wanted me. And that's just how I felt. It wasn't about that. I had my kids and me. And I didn't know where to go and do this and do that. So I remember I was throwed all my belongings out by a policeman. He threw all my stuff out. I had all my things thrown out by a cop and my car taken because I had I had a whole bunch, about 5 different tickets. And I was about to give up. And he told us ICE just to the side. This lady come by and got me. I didn't even know the lady, but I had to think of my kids. Do I want to give them up or keep fighting? I had to fight for my kids. I had to keep going. I had to survive through that ignorant stuff in my life. I had to run from him, and I also had to fight back and get the strength to say no more. No more. Okay, that's the point when you get tired of somebody that pushes you down and makes you feel like you nothing. You are somebody. You are made here for something. God put you here for a reason. He didn't put you here to be beaten, to bruise, and told where to get off at because you're female and you're talking back. That's back in the day. That is not this day and time. Women make things just like men do. And sometimes that's intimidating to a male for a female to talk back. But you have to have a voice. You have no voice. You are just a living duck for domestic violence, especially on dope. A person that does pills and does everything, they ain't got no business. You're their prey, and you don't gotta live like that. But you gotta keep your strength up because this world's rough like that. They gonna make you challenge your mind to make you feel like you're nothing. You're trash. You get told every day how trash you is. You start to believe it. Because ain't nobody on the other saying you're pretty, you're nice looking, they're steady saying why you there, but they're not helping you get out of the situation that you're in. But they can talk about you. So that's the reason why I had to give it to God, because anger leads to hurting other people, and I'm not game for that. I'm just tired. I got tired of hurting, the pain of living with that. And people put in my face. To this day, they don't never let nothing die. It always the same. That was the girl that got beat up by somebody who was on dope. He even bought it, tried to take my sister and take her to buy it. He bought it on my back. So it was just crazy. It's not fair, but God got me out of it. I learned to forgive, and now I don't let this bother me, because females have a voice. You're not nothing, so you need to stop thinking like that. Because these males these days, they won't control a lot of them. And if they can't control you, then therefore they don't think you have a voice because you're a female. Trick that. That didn't back in the day when you didn't have a voice. Females are feeding the males, more or less than the males feeding the females. But they don't have no right to say nothing. You have a lot of right. The problem is, in domestic violence, you get abused and picked down. You start believing you're nothing. But you're somebody because God put you here for a purpose. He didn't put you here to be beat up and abused and told that you're trash and use you like you something and step on you when they feel like it, just because they're mad or they're angry because stuff don't go their way. God don't like ugly, and believe me, if I got to pay, you'll pay. I might not see it, but God's going to take care of my situation. That's why I let that go, that anger go, because leaving to anger ain't going to do nothing good for me. I wanted to live, so I had to let that go. But domestic violence ain't no joke, ladies. I'll tell you something. Somebody's abusing you, better get ready to pack up and go and figure out what you're finna do. And hopefully you got a defense system, because believe me, this world is just not for domestic violence to me. There's too lenient. Just like child support, too lenient. It's always supposed to be both of you made babies, both of you made that relationship. But sometimes getting out is hard. You almost die. But those who are in there, please find a way to get out. Reach out for help. Because I almost gave up, but I can't do it. Because that's in my nature. I fight like this fist, and I keep fighting. In the end, I'm going to win. And I won. Because I turned around and I made a promise to God, and I never went back. And that's all I got to say. So will y'all please subscribe to my channel. And thank y'all for listening, because this is a sad subject. But someone out there, I hope it helps you. And God bless you. And push that down, y'all. Bye-bye. Peace.